I don't think the camping genre is going anywhere on YouTube. In fact, I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger. However, some channels will fade away, some channels will rise. I watched a video yesterday called "Is YouTube Over for Camping Videos" by English Woodsman, and a week or so before that I watched another video by Mick Outdoors, similar sort of vein, about the current state of play when it comes to camping channels anyway on YouTube. And I wasn't going to make a video covering that subject myself, but both of them mentioned me by name in those videos, and me and Dan, English Woodsman, we've had a few conversations about the subject, so I thought I would give my take on it whilst trying to get some of my 10,000 steps in. I need to take it back for when I put my first video out. It's about 8 years ago, it says 8 years on the thing, 2016. And there weren't as many camping channels around back in those days. So if you made a decent-ish video anyway, you stood a good chance of getting quite a lot of views on it. But then, step forward a few years and we've had COVID brought a massive influx of outdoors channels. And then suddenly the market was saturated by everybody doing the same thing, and a lot of those channels have died off a little bit. TA Outdoors is another channel. He's got nearly 3 million subscribers, I think. Some of his recent videos are getting 40,000 views. So things are definitely changing, and the problem with us YouTubers is we tend to mark our success by how many views a video's got. And so if we're getting lower views, have we had a failure? And especially for smaller channels now, you can put hours and hours into your editing and your filming for just a handful of views for some people. And it must be really frustrating. From what I took from Dan's video, he's a little bit concerned that the camping genre is going to die altogether, which I don't think is going to be the case. But there are reasons for that. In 2025, there are 20 million videos uploaded every day onto the YouTube platform. So my little video is just a little pinprick in a whole woodland compared to everything that's out there. So trying to get noticed or suggested by the algorithms, it is getting harder and harder. And when you think about it, as Dan rightly posted on his video, when it comes to wild camping channels, a lot of us are doing the same old, which is traditionally open your boot, put your backpack on, walk up a hill, pitch your tent, maybe get beaten up by stormy weather, cook steak inside your vestibule, pack up next morning, and then go back down again. Doing this kind of thing, where you put your camera down, and then you walk by it. Some funny people, tend to run back and show the process as well. But yeah, we're all doing very much the same thing, and it's getting more and more difficult to stand out, especially when it comes to a subject that is being covered by lots and lots of different people. So as YouTubers, we want to stand out a little bit, and we try and do different things, and that can actually be part of the problem. So take me for example, I've gone from camping on mountains to gear reviews to doing a daily vlog to talking about random stuff, easy to make content like this. And although it's consistently uploading, it's not consistent format and consistent subject matter. It's vaguely covered by the outdoors or camping, but it's not. You look at people like Abel and Victoria, you know exactly what you're going to get from one of their videos every time. And it's a camping video. Usually they've got some extreme conditions involved, which is really interesting to watch. It's only a little hill that I'm blowing out my backside. I'm going to have a minute. Where was I? Yeah, Abel and Victoria. Tends to be more Abel these days, but he's hiking up a mountain, a different bit of equipment, so it's exactly the same format every time, but something changes with the equipment. So it'll be a different tent, there might be a different weather condition. Kent Survival, Andy, the same. So he used to do more bushcrafty kind of stuff, but now you know he's going to be camping in something that is quite unique. But it's exactly the same format. He drives in his truck, walks through a little bit of woodland, pictures his new unique Amazon or Lidl tent or whatever it is, but you get in exactly the same thing. That is what the consistency is about for me. You know, the algorithm knows that people like that thing. You want to see Andy do exactly the same thing, but in a different shelter. So yeah, what Dan is saying is there's only so many times you can see somebody pitch a tent. And I get that, because that's how I feel. There's only so many times I want to go and pitch a tent. And that's probably mine and his problem more than it is the viewer's problem. Just look at the numbers of Able and Victoria and Kent Survival, because it's exactly the same format over and over again. You know, people will just keep going back to that, and the algorithm promotes that. So I'm not an expert, but I do have data, my own data, to prove what works and what doesn't work on my channel. And you know, the variety stuff, it does hurt your views. If views is what you measure your success by when it comes to a video, I'll be honest, you know, I've stopped. I still want to get views, obviously, because it pays the bills, but I've stopped really worrying too much about that. I think it's more important to be consistent uploading, if you want to do YouTube anyway. If you worry too much about it, you know, and trying to get the perfect video every time, you'd never post anything, would you? So most people, when it comes to YouTube, you know, they're trying to find that secret sauce or the formula that gets them views. And they look at what other people have done. So they might look at Kent Survival's video where he sleeps in a seafood tent, whatever it would be, or a cardboard box tent. So they'll go and make a video of them sleeping in a cardboard box tent, and they find that they don't get anywhere near the same sort of views as he's got, because for starters, they haven't got the hours in the bank. They've not got the consistency of, you know, years of making video week in, week out, till he's found a formula that works for him. And now he's reaping the rewards from that. Whereas everyone else is constantly trying something new. You know, cardboard box didn't work for me. So what I'll do is I will sleep in a cave or go stealth camping in a McDonald's car park, because I've seen somebody else get 1 million views from that. And that doesn't work for them either. And then suddenly they're in this trap of just trying so many different things where they haven't got a structure in place. Now, this is coming from me that's not getting many views anymore, but that's not why I'm making the videos now. I know what I need to do if I just want to get views, but that's not the videos that I want to make, which is, that's the thing. So you'll read the comments. You know, if I do this video now, someone will say, why aren't you camping? Well, for starters, I don't want to camp in this heat. I don't want to be climbing up a mountain in this heat, but that's my personal choice. But to grow a channel, you have got to consistently do those things. You've got to work harder than everyone else. The biggest competition area on YouTube is for mediocre content, which is just somebody walking around with a GoPro, maybe walking up a hill, pitching the tent, frying up some beans, whatever, and then walking back down again. If it's easy to do, lots of people can do it, and it's very difficult to stand out from the rest. I'm not trying to kill anyone's YouTube dreams, by the way. I'm just trying to say that it's hard work to grow a YouTube channel. You know, some people are lucky, they get a viral video from the start, but also some people get a viral video and then they never get views on any other video again. So you've got to be consistent with what you do. You know, you've got to have a plan. You know, YouTube has got to be treated like a job, not a hobby, if you want to really succeed at it. Yeah, I don't work at it as hard as I should do. And Joe keeps telling me that. But it's not just a case of pressing go on the camera and expecting results. You've got to learn other skills as well. You've got to learn ideas. You've got to, something that someone's going to click on. You can make a really good video, but if the subject matter is so boring or nobody ever cares about it, then no one's going to watch it. No one's going to listen to what you've got to say about it. You can have it filmed all cinematically or whatever it is you want to do, but if people can't relate to it, they're not going to watch it. There are very few people out there that can do what Casey Neistat can do. He can make a story out of a simple inanimate object, a pen. He could go on a journey with a pen and tell stories with it, fly all over the world and make it interesting and exciting. You want to know what's happening to this pen, and at the end of it, it might just write happy birthday on a card. I don't know. Whatever he does seems to work, but for everyday people that just want to pick up a camera and record and then expect to get millions and millions of views out of it, it just doesn't work like that. You've got to learn about thumbnails, you've got to learn about titles, you've got to learn about keywords. There's different types of strategy when it comes to whether you want to be search based, whether you want to, the algorithm might promote your clickbaity sort of title for the first couple of days, but then after that, once it's died, it never resurfaces again because it's got no search terms with it. It's like being in the desert here, isn't it? So yeah, there's lots of things to consider, but I don't think for 1 minute that the camping genre is dying. People have been camping for thousands and thousands of years in some format, and they will continue to do so, I think, for another 1,000 years. However, the YouTube platform's getting really, really crowded, but on the other hand, the YouTube platform is also growing exponentially when it comes to viewers. It is now the most streamed platform on earth. It totally eclipses regular TV and Netflix and all of that kind of stuff. So although there are more people uploading videos, there are more people watching as well. So, and more so on televisions. So you've got to think about that as well. Back when I first started, most people were watching YouTube on their phone or on the tablet. So your content maybe had to be a little bit different. Now, it seems as well, production value has got to be so much better. Not in every case, there are some anomalies like Sam Sulik. He's the weightlifter. He's the one that everybody refers to as this, you don't have to have fancy editing and stuff like that. He basically goes to the gym, films himself doing some reps or driving to the gym and talking, gets millions of views. But most people can't do that and get away with that. And if you look hard enough, there are camping channels out there that are growing rapidly. So if you want to be one of those, have a look at what they're doing. Maybe it gives you a few ideas, but at some point, what they're doing, everybody will have copied as well. And then the whole cycle starts again. Yeah, you go searching now for camping in a storm, or whatever it will be. You'll see some videos that have got millions of views, but you'll also get suggested some that have got about 100 views. And the thumbnails, it's all clickbaity, it's all I almost died kind of stuff, because that's what people are having to do now. Well, you don't have to do it, but some people are choosing to do that, to try and get somebody to click. Now, if you get them to click, you better deliver on what you've said on that thumbnail and title, because if you don't, the algorithm just blows you away and you're never to be seen again. Another thing that Dan mentioned in his video is that people have commented that why hasn't he gone full time on YouTube? He's got over 100,000 subscribers. Surely he's earning enough money to go full time. And he's quite right where he says that it's inconsistent, the YouTube earnings. It's unreliable. Sometimes you get no views. He had his channel just cancelled. They stopped him, kicked him out of the ad revenue program for, I think it was 2 months, all because of some kind of copyright or strike or something like that. But yeah, you can't rely on it. And knowing what I know now, maybe I jacked in the day job a little bit too soon. YouTube's a very different place to what it used to be. When I first started, I didn't do it for the views. In fact, I didn't even tell anybody about it, apart from a couple of people that were in on the bet when it came to making videos. I didn't even tell my family members. Now, everything seems to be judged about how many views you've got, how many subscribers you've got. If anyone asks me what I do for a living, I still feel a little bit embarrassed actually. I don't want to say that I'm a YouTuber, but when I do, first thing they say is, how many subscribers have you got? Not why do you do it or what do you make the videos for? What got you into it? They come along maybe later, but it's the instant metric of a number just to verify just how good you are apparently. And the way the algorithm works is very different. It used to be that if you had 100,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, whatever it would be, the algorithm would show your content, your videos, to those subscribers. And now that's not necessarily the case. It just shows a sample to some of those subscribers, and then depending on how it goes, it might spread it out further. They're trying to match the individual video to the individual person that's watching it, and they are sometimes what I think I'm making or who I think I'm making the video for is sometimes different to who YouTube thinks the video is for. So it can affect your numbers drastically. So I've been doing YouTube 3 or 4 years, something like that, and I'd never even considered that it could be a way of making a living or earning enough even as a good second job. But I think now it's one of those things that you ask kids now what they want to be when they grow up. Loads of them want to be a YouTuber, because it's sort of gives the opportunity to the everyday person to be have their 15 minutes of fame, shall we say, or even to make a business, to make a career. There are people who are YouTubers now that are presented mainstream television. They are pop stars, even got their own brands and things like that. So it can be a platform to those great things, and I think people see the opportunity, and then when they don't get the views that they're hoping for, it's a real disappointment for them. Getting lots of views and subscribers, it can be a good gateway as well, just for working with big brands and having the opportunity to talk at certain events and things like that. So it is fantastic, and I recommend it to everybody, but lower your expectations is what I say. I think you've got to have a huge amount of luck. You've got to have a huge character as well. You've got to have something about you that people can relate to. At least one of those things anyway. So one of the things that helped me get consistent and ultimately helped grow the channel was that I never really bothered about the views. I used to like seeing how many thumbs up I got, or the comments. I used to love reading and replying to all the comments. Later down the line, I think that became a bit more of a downfall, because I think when you're first starting out, the comments you find are all usually really positive and encouraging, and then as your channel grows, you get 1 or 2 more negative things pop in, and if you let the positive ones get into your head, to build you up a little bit, that makes the negative ones worse, I suppose, and then they start to get under your skin. Then you fall out of love with the comments as well. So it's one of those things. But I never bothered with views until I went full time, and then views suddenly became more important, to the point that that got under my skin as well. Now I feel like I'm at a good place now where if I make a video, I make a video. I still need to make them, otherwise we don't pay the mortgage. But if you focus too much on the views, it takes away from the love of why you got into making YouTube videos in the first place. Like I said, when I started, it wasn't an option about being a YouTuber. It wasn't even a dream being a YouTuber. Now I think people pick up a camera for the first time with the intention of becoming a YouTuber full time and realizing it's not as easy as it looks. So if you love making the videos and you love editing and uploading, then it doesn't matter how many views you get. Surely that's already a success. You know, I'm at the point, and I've been at the point for a long time, that I don't really go camping anymore unless it's a family thing, without taking the camera. And because I love this bit just as much as the camping bit, so they go hand in hand. If you don't love all aspects of it, stop doing it. But don't expect to get lots of views and lots of subscribers and all those things, that metrics that people seem to crave these days. Me being one of them at one time as well. I remember when I hit the 90,000 subscriber mark, I really wanted that silver play button. And then when I got it, I've never even put it on the wall. In fact, I don't even know where it is. It's just something that you think you want, but it's just a number. Doesn't really matter, does it? I still love making the videos. Just to round things up, I don't think the camping genre is going anywhere on YouTube. In fact, I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger. However, some channels will fade away, some channels will rise. The ones that fade usually are because the creator just gives up and stops making videos. You've got to be consistent. You know, like I said, this is what I think anyway. You know, I can't prove this, but look at the channels that are thriving. Their format is the same. Kent Survival, Abel and Victoria, Tony, AB Camping. You know what you're getting. For the most part, he's packed up now. Outdoor Boys. Hope he comes back soon. But yeah, those kind of things. If you're switching from gear, you go into a camp, then you do a spooky whatever, then you do stealth and whatever it is. If you keep doing loads of different things, it just confuses things. Keep it simple. And that is how I think is the best way to grow a channel. 9297. Continuing the streak.